There are some movies out there that are really good, and I want to share my rating on some movies. Let's make this video my opinion on my favorite movie. So most of you guys know this, but my favorite movie, so far at least, is called Back to the Future. And I first saw this movie when I was in 2nd grade, and my dad was driving home with me, my older brother, and my younger sister. I asked my dad, what are we doing tonight? And he said, we will be watching a movie called Back to the Future. And I thought, I don't want to watch a bad movie on a Friday night. But I really enjoyed it. So let's get this story straight. There's a kid named Marty, and he gets a call from his friend Doc. And Doc said it's 8:25 instead of 8 o'clock. And Marty realizes he's late for school. And Marty's that character who acts super cool and all the girls love him, no big deal. And then he goes to school and all that stuff. But that night, Marty's mom, Lorraine, tells Marty and his siblings about how she met Marty's dad, George. Lorraine's dad hit George with his car, and Lorraine brought him into the house, and she took him to the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. At midnight, Marty gets a call from Doc at around 1 a.m. to meet him at Twin Pines Mall. And Doc invented a time machine and sent his Doc Einstein 1 minute into the future, and Doc wants to go to November 5th, 1955. And he realized he almost forgot one of his formulas that made him get back. And suddenly, the bad guys of the movie come, and they are all called Libyans. The Libyans start shooting near Marty and Doc, and suddenly Doc gets killed, and Marty has one choice. He has to go in the DeLorean and drive as fast as he can. When the car hits 88 miles per hour, he was sent to November 5th, 1955. He hides the DeLorean behind the sign that was his home, but it was not built yet, and he goes to his town called Hill Valley, and it's super old for him. Mr. Sandman, Mr. Sandman, do 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 do, Mr. Sandman, do 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 do, bring me a dream, ba ba. Suddenly he finds out he's in 1955. He goes to a local soda bar, and he sees his dad's car washer in 1985, Biff.
Hey, McFly! What do you think you're doing? Biff.
Marty then knows that his dad in 1955 is right next to him. George then goes home, and he gets on top of a tree, and then he falls down and was supposed to get hit by a car, but Marty stepped in and ruined how his parents met. Marty gets taken into Lorraine's house, it's still 1955, and he asks where Riverside Drive is, and he goes to Doc's old house. Marty tells Doc he is from 1985 and he needs help getting back. Doc agreed to bring him back, but he said he had to stay in his lab because they needed 1.21 gigawatts. Now I am wondering,
What the hell is a gigawatt?
but Marty says he ran into his parents, and Doc said Marty's mom had the hots for him. So Marty needed to get George and Lorraine together. What about the fish under the sea? The enchantment under the sea! George gets nervous, and Marty dresses up as Darth Vader to make a mask. OMG! He's gonna ask her.
Hey, McFly!
Oh, not this son of a... Marty dumped them in manure, and Lorraine still likes Marty. Okay, next! Marty goes back to the lab, and Lorraine comes, and she asks Marty if he can go to the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Crap! Marty makes up a plan with George that Marty and Lorraine will be in the car struggling, and George will come in and beat up Marty, and he and Lorraine will live happily ever after. And while that happens, Doc can fix up the time machine. Doc doesn't want to know about the future, so Marty wrote a note to him that he will be shot by bad people. He puts it in his suit, picks up Lorraine, and takes her to the school parking lot. She starts drinking and smoking, and Marty tries to make her stop doing that because she's only 17. Then it is 8:59, and George starts going to Marty. Lorraine eventually says someone is... Wait! Biff! Biff traps himself in the car with Lorraine, and Biff locks and Biff's friends lock Marty in the car trunk of the band players at the dance. Then George sees the car that Lorraine is in, and he opens the car door and sees Biff. He is confused, but stays strong because he's usually the weak kid. Then Biff starts to twist his arm, and he was starting to get hurt. Then the guitar player used his hand to free Marty from the trunk, and now he was running to where Biff was. And he saw George knock out Biff in one wait. Well, I don't know what to say. George then is with Lorraine now, and now Marty has to get back where the band is, the car. And they said that they can't continue the dance unless they have a guitar player, because Marvin, the guitar player, cut his hand because the screwdriver that he used slipped out of his hand. Can I be the guitar player? Marty is now the guitar player for the dance, and he can't play because his parents haven't kissed yet, because if you can't kiss, you can't have kids. Well, that's not true, and this channel is supposed to be PG friendly, but they need a kiss to fall in love, or get kissed, married. I don't even know. Marty starts disappearing, and then they finally kiss. Yay, happy ending. Hey, can I play some rock? What's that? Marty runs back where Doc is, and he got everything set up. Marty gets an alarm that tells him when to go. Boom! The cable to the clock tower disconnected. Go, Marty! Okay, now we made it to the end of the line, but the car won't start when the alarm went off, and Doc is struggling to connect the cable, and when he does, the cable below gets disconnected, and he ziplines down to connect the other cable. Okay. The car eventually starts, and he starts going 88 miles per hour. He made it! Wait, how did Doc survive the shoot? A bulletproof vest? Please subscribe. This video took so long to make, like a long time. Please subscribe. I want to get some money.